Yeah, it's a great question, and I guess it's it's hard because there's nothing that specifically comes to mind. I guess it's just for me the one this year. So I'm essentially I feel like I've been doing everything I ever wanted to do. I'm one of the luckiest people ever. You know, I everything that I could ever possibly have wanted so far is at me. It's happening. But at the beginning of this year, I sort of had a moment where I was doing two shows and working for the agency, planning my wedding, which is major as well, buying a house, doing all these things. Was also I worked on a short film. I was really submerging myself in things, and also I do simulated patient work for universities and things like that, and that sort of stuff for role play for businesses, so for HR departments. So I was doing all this stuff at once, and I had a moment where it became too much for me. I think I kind of overloaded because I didn't realize that I was stressing over things. So I'm a person that every time I'm stressed out about something, I'll just add something else to my calendar. So then there's no days where I'm allowing myself to actually take a breath. And so this is the beginning of this year. So end of last year, beginning of this year, I didn't allow myself to breathe. And then so what that results in is me just kind of losing it a little bit and just getting really anxious and probably not doing everything to the best of my ability, which again, that nasty voice comes into your head and says that you're not good enough for what you're doing and that you don't deserve what you've got, which is also really hard as an actor and as a person to know that you're getting everything that you could possibly want and yet be turning around and almost throwing it away because you don't feel good enough. So that was my breakdown. I had a bit of a hiatus during when I had my wedding from the show, one of the shows I was doing. And during that time, I decided that I needed to give away acting for a bit because it was stressing me out. It wasn't enjoyable anymore. And it was just not myself, like you said, Doug. Like I almost create this other person, this person that was always stressed. I had all this baggage that I was carrying that wasn't mine because the character I was playing, I did Becca from Rabbit Hole, so I was doing the lead in that show, and it's a very heavy show. So carrying all this information about this little this character, I had to create this little boy, and then he had to die, and it was just that was devastating at that time. Plus, I was doing all this work with a pediatric mental health training unit where I was role playing and looking after this young girl who wanted to commit suicide, all this stuff, and I carried it on like all this was mine, like it was all my trauma, all my baggage, and yeah, I just didn't become myself, and it was a scary moment where I actually walked into the office, the AAA talent agent office, and spoke to Nick and Karina. And I said, I'm really scared. I said, I either need to quit acting right now, or I'm going to drive myself into a dystopia pole, or so like a light pole or something. But it was a horrifying because I've never felt the need to want to do something like that. So that was my moment, and that made me go, okay, I need to take a breath. I'm piling stuff on because there's something underlying going on. And I guess I discovered that it was that feeling of not being good enough. I'm not good enough to tackle all these things. So that's my big bugbear. Like that's the thing that is kind of my first phrase as an actor. I'm always feeling like I'm not good enough, and it's hard to change that. So
yeah,
that's the story.
That's really interesting, Kryssie. So, yeah, we interviewed on our suicide and mental health panel. There's a movie being made in Melbourne at the moment. It's an indie film, but it's about a young girl who took her own life at 13 because of bullying. And it's a true story, and it's very hitting. And the cast on there, like a lot of them have dealt with bullying and depression and that, and obviously they're a stand for. One young girl who's on the car, she threw herself in front of a train and survived, and her mum saw that. And I'm just being blunt. I mean, sometimes people go, oh, God, but you got to be blunt because we want suicide to stop. Now, is that a possible task? It'll be a hard task, and obviously you're not going to stop everything, but we're not interested in awareness of suicide. We want it to stop. We want people to be aware of people who are going through something. That's where the awareness comes in, and we hope that this is a small part in helping through the people that come on our platforms, like behind me, Golden Gate Bridge, where Kevin Hines jumped off that when he was 18 and he survived. And Kevin's he wrote the ripple effect, and he just posted something on Instagram the other day about a young man who went to take his own life a few weeks ago. It's all these people are doing these little things that you hope just inspire others. So what you just said about all that, I understand, because it's talking to these people on this film, they do struggle at times. Like, they just have to walk off set for a little while and like, wow, especially the girl who's playing the young girl,
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And that's the thing as an actor as well, is, people always say, method acting's no good and things like that because people transform. But as an actor, you can't help but, start to empathize with the characters you're playing. So, because COVID sort of shut down the show initially, we'd rehearsed it and we were ready to go on, and then we had to put it to bed. And this stuff just to kind of was in the back of my mind, living this life of being this woman who's lost a child. And that kind of lifted me, and it hit me. So every time I saw a mother with her son walking down the road, like a 3-year-old son, it would hit me. Every time in my dreams, it was living in my dreams, it was doing all these things. But I was allowing it to, I think, because I was like, I need to latch onto this because I don't think that I have the skills to be able to just act this. So I allowed it to really just sort of seep into my psyche. And then it was like just a realization that I was carrying somebody else's trauma. It wasn't mine, but I owned it. I really owned it. And that was the scary part, because when I walked into my office and said that to these two people that, I adore, they're such close friends to me. And I didn't say it. I think I actually told my husband as well after the fact. I sort of said, it's a scary thought because I'm not going to do it, but I feel like I want it. And I am so thankful that I had people that were understanding and supportive, that went, not, oh, don't be ridiculous, or don't just put it down to nothing, oh, you get over it, or whatever it is. They actually all banded together and went, okay, there's something going on for you. How do we help? How do we make this better? And I said, I don't know. I just need to take a moment. And so they were fabulous. And they said, look, you need to go home, take your time, get there, let us know you're there. You actually just need to take a rest, because I think at the moment you're just working way too hard. And checked in on me and did the things that I needed. And the same with Peter, my husband. Like, he, has just cuddled me actually and just said, it's okay. This is a show. What's going on in your life is this. He said, we weren't married at the time. We're about to get married. We're looking at a house this year. I've got a beautiful stepdaughter. She's a love it. I adore her. She's like my own. I absolutely love her. And these things that he just brought to light. Even looking back over my career and saying, these are the things you've achieved. This is how, you've worked hard to get to this place, and that's why you're here. Not, you're not an imposter. You're here because you've worked for it.
And you're not finished yet either. Like we were talking before about when we were coaching years ago about a stack of half-read books behind you. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that's okay. The interpretation we may get out of that is, the book isn't finished yet, and it never will be. And
maybe that's that fear of it's like with watching a series. Like, I love watching TV series. I get so submerged in them. But the fear of the last few episodes is like, whoa. This world is going to end, and I don't want it to. So I've got a little bit of that as well. I'm a fantastic starter. I start things and I'm like, bang, bang, bang. Right? I'm really good at that. And then when it comes to the middle, I'm like, cool. And then I slow down because I'm like, well, this could end at some point. We don't want that. So I take the foot off the accelerator and apply the brakes a little bit too hard sometimes. You know, that's the analogy for my career as an actor and an artist, and you know, all the other things that I've sort of put out there. You know, I wanted to be an illustrator. I wanted to be a writer, and you know, actually wrote some amazing things I was really proud of when I was coaching with you, Andy. Yeah, so those are the struggles that I deal with in my, in my life.
And everybody is the same. That's what's great, that, you know, like even successful people behind closed doors still have their moments of struggle and doubt. And I do not believe for 1 minute people who are highly successful and billionaires, millionaires, whatever, that life is running smoothly. It just is impossible, because regardless of how much money you got, you're still a human being. Yeah. So those people that we can learn lessons from, the ones who actually care about other people, not just the money in their bank account, and they share and guide people to go, you know what, it wasn't an easy road and there was a lot of breakdowns, but you just keep going. It's like, you know, you break down on the road. Well, if all the cars that broke down on the road didn't get help or get towed away, we'd have the freeways full of breakdowns, but they're not, because the tow truck takes the breakdown away and the car gets taken wherever it gets fixed. No different in life. We have a breakdown. We have to be our own tow truck and go past that and go, okay, got it. There's a saying, KFC, which is, you know what you want, find out if you're getting it, and change what you're doing until you get it. And that's what you got to do. You might consistently have to change and change every day. Joyce Myers, I listen to her a lot. She's a Christian minister, and she was talking on one of her podcasts. She said, this is for Christians or non-Christians. She said, you cannot expect to get up and go, I'm going to lose weight, and go on a diet, and then you've lost weight and stop. It's going to be for the rest of your life. You're going to have to do it every day. Yeah, you can have your cheat day, but you're going to have to be conscious of that every day. Whatever training you're doing, whatever you want to do, it's going to be constant every day. It's not just going to happen and then let it go. That's part of being a big person, up to big things and getting what you want in life, but having the balance as well in, you know, relationship, home, health, time, meditations, fitness, training, finance, budgets, like your own time. Like that takes a lot to do, but that's why leaders can do it, because they know how to balance. You have to balance. And Doug has to balance, because he's at it all day, every day, editing videos, training, but he makes it work. And he's had a lot more peace over the last month or so, because now we've had to keep changing the schedule, and now he's found one that actually works for him. Haven't you, Doug?
I have, yeah, and it feels very good.
Good.
And
what's your good feeling to have lost all that weight?
Oh man, and look, he's it's the same with, you know, like he wanted to lose the weight, so we got him on a diet. We used one of my friend Kit Dale's diet books. Kit's a world champion jiu-jitsu player. He's a mentor to people who want to learn jiu-jitsu. He's fitness fanatic. So we used his book. We used other things. Doug's doing his training. He's at the gym 3 days a week. He does yoga. He does meditation. He does walking, biking, and it's making it. And he's doing it. You can tell anyone to do anything, but Doug is doing it. He's doing absolutely amazing. Show us them biceps again, mate.
Yeah, bring them out.
You see this, guys? You see this?
I do.
I'm going for Andy's job.
Watch out, Andy.
Yeah, I know.
You're fired, Andy.
I'm a little worried.
Oh dear. But that's great though. Like, that's so good that you know, you've gotten to that point where you feel like you can say that, and you anything you want you can achieve. You just got to keep going, and that's what you're doing, which is great.
Yeah. And look, Kryssie, you know, same with what you're up to, what all of us are up to. We all have different roles in life, you know.
Yes.
And you know, one of the most important things, I think, is obviously finding balance in your own life, and really help to listen to those significant others in your life, or whenever there's situation coming up, just listen to people, you know, like rather than trying to make them wrong or make yourself right. You get so much more peace out of it, you know, so much more peace. And obviously that's only one aspect of.
Yeah. But it, you know, like I somebody said the other day to me, you're listening to learn something, or you're listening to interrupt. So I think a lot of people do. They listen and they hear the things that they want to respond to, and they immediately go, I'm going to just respond to that, and they're not really listening. And I think that's actually said to an actor the other day that I know, you know, I don't know how the conversation came up, but I said, you know, I'd love to have a thing that I'm known for, because, you know, we're talking about another actor, and she's known for being super bubbly, and you know, everyone thinks, she's so beautiful, she's such a light. I was like, I'd love to have a thing. And this actor said, well, quite honestly, the thing I think you're known for is you really listen. You know, so he goes, you were a lead on a production a few years ago now. And I hadn't worked on a set before, and you know, I sat down next to you and you said to me, what's wrong? And you really meant it. And then while you are able to sit and listen to me, you really listened. And he goes, I don't think I would have ever expected a lead in a production to sit down next to an extra and actually just listen to, you know, what was going on for me. And so that's your thing. You're a listener. And I was like,
that's only a label, you know, background, extra, lead. It's all labels.
Yeah, totally. And we all do it because we love it. Like, it's not, no one's more special. You know, everyone starts out somewhere. And this guy produces his own YouTube stuff now. So, you know, you don't, again, that's that thing where you got to keep going. And if you just go, I'm just an extra, that's your words. It's not anybody else's, you know. Extras are important in the filmmaking process. We need background extras. We need atmosphere. We need all these people to make a beautiful story. And, you know, and without them, you know, it's still good, but it's not, you know, it just helps to fill out that story.
Team, you know, and
exactly.
You know, and it is a tough business, you know, to keep going, but that's why a lot of people drop out, I think, because they're tired of trying to make it work. And you know, you should never give up, because you may not be an actor, you might end up becoming a producer, director, or like you, and you might be able to do stuff. So you just don't know. Don't quit.
I mean, I've been all of these things. I've been a director, I've been a producer, a writer. I've been a gopher. I was a lot when I was living over in LA. I did some gopher work. I loved it. You know, submerging yourself amongst that. And yes, there's people out there like that talk about how, you know, people get stressed and they get yelled at. It's like, yeah, but again, that goes back to that. You don't know what that person's going through. You are there to make their job easier, because this is your job. If they yell at you, it's not a personal thing. It's just them. That's you. You know, you've got to go, cool. Even if they needed to say that, then great. How can I now, you know, help to make sure that person's feeling better? Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's all about that.
Amazing journey, and time's run out, but
sure.
It's been so cool, Kryssie, like to hear, and it's inspirational, because actors need to hear that, because it is going to happen. Like, you're going to be disgruntled, you're going to feel like it's not working, but you know, you've got your part-time. You know, it's just part of the journey. If you choose this career, that all comes with it. You know, all of it.
Yeah.
But look, I really appreciate you coming on, Kryssie, and sharing that journey, because it will be inspirational for others. I'm actually in my car at the moment. That's why it's getting a bit sort of blurry, and that is the sun's going down, and it's only 4:30. What the heck's going on? It's getting dark really early here now, but that's okay. There's plenty of light coming out of this program.
Yeah, exactly.
The light is shining. Well, thanks, Kryssie, and again, Doug, too. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for allowing me to take a little bit more of the time in this, because you know, Kryssie and myself haven't met for a long time, and we've got a great history behind us. And thanks for sharing your story too, Doug. It's also extremely inspirational.
I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. And Kryssie, we appreciate you coming on Relentless. Your story will impact the world, unquestionably.
Oh, thank you so much, Doug. I loved having a chat with you guys. Thank you so much for having me on board. And I look forward to seeing the future, what's going on with the channel and you guys. So thank you again. And super grateful. So, wishing everyone love and light. And hopefully we'll speak to you guys soon.
Oh, yeah, we will for sure. We'll talk to you again in a few months and see what else is going on, because that's the great part about this, to see what's occurred from this in a few months' time, what else is happening, So, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
mate.
really lovely rest of your day. All right.
Yeah, you too.
Big hugs.
Too.
See
Thank
All
you.
right. So,
Bye-bye.
everyone, I want to thank Andy for being a good mentor through this relentless and unstoppable journey. And we'll see you next week for the next episode of Relentless and Unstoppable.